Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a flip through for you today of my finished journal for Tetelestai and my little journaling Bible that I did. This is the latest kit from By the Well for God. I worked in this journal. I have videos for the setup of both of these. I'll try to link the playlist for all my videos down below so that you can see that if you're interested, if you've missed any. So this is the devotional. You can see I just go through and write out my notes and stuff in there. And then I work, and I decided to work in both of these. So I'm going to try to do a flip through in this video of both of them. Hopefully it won't get too long, but this is the journal that I created. I used the little wood piece that came in the kit from By the Well for God. I just put that on the front down here. And then I kind of just created a junk journal using different papers, some from that coordinated with the kit, and then others that I just had in my stash. So this is the introduction page. And one thing I did different this time is I don't really have the pages numbered, so I might get that wrong, just letting you know that ahead of time. And then I put the kit sticker here just so I would know, and then which month this was. So this is day 1. I just created this little pocket. There was a lot of scripture here that I wanted to include. So this part actually folds out, and I have it all kind of written out there. And then it's just clipped with this little Tim Holtz paper clip. And then I also created a pocket for some other notes back here. You'll see that a lot in my journals. I have a lot of just tuck spots and pockets where I have, you know, I always write out the scriptures, but I also have personal notes and thoughts and reflections, and sometimes I don't want those being very obvious. I just kind of want them tucked away, so that's how that is. And I have this little journaling card that I created with some scripture and notes here. And then I really loved this paper, so I just actually left this by itself for this journal, which is something I haven't really done too much of, but I like how it ended up looking at the end. And then on this page, created a little tuck spot, and I have this journaling card and some notes on the back. And then throughout here I have some hymnal pages as well. And then I created a pocket on this side. I think this is day 3, with a journaling card, some more scripture here on the back. And then I used one of the word exploration cards that you could get that coordinated with the kit. And I did some notes on foreknowledge, and then I have a scripture on the back. This I did, I stamped this with one of the stamps that you could get. And then I stamped it on vellum, and then I just backed it with one of the pattern papers. So it just kind of filled in the color that way. And then I have one of the labels here with some more notes. On this page, I used, you'll see the flashcards all throughout here. And then this ended up being a little bit longer than what I had room for, so I ended up making that into a tip-in. And then I just put a little frame here. And then this was actually something that I created. I have a video on this. I used the stencil and some texture paste and created this piece, and then I just made that into a little pocket. And I have my scriptures for this day kind of tucked back in here on these journaling cards. I like the kind of bold statement that means. Now, my book was a little bit smaller actually than this stencil, so I did have to trim this down just a little bit around the edges, and it hangs out you know, over just a little bit, but I'm fine with that. But the stencil actually is a little bit longer. This one I kept really pretty simple. I just have pockets on the edges, and then I had created this background with just some mixed media techniques, and then I have my notes and scriptures just tucked in the little side pockets. And then I used a frame that came in the kit, and I wrote one of the scriptures there as well. And then this is the back side of that one hymnal page, and I just used some white texture paste and just really lightly went through there just to add some interest. And then very lightly with a distress ink, I just kind of highlighted the cross section of that. And then I created kind of a pocket with my flashcard there. And then I have another pocket back here that has some of these other notes and journaling cards. They're just kind of tucked back in there. And then I used, these are actually some leftover pieces from the Tassel Bob kit, and I just used those on the top of my tags. And then I created this little cluster just with some scraps that I had left over. And then I added a little frame here. And then I took this whole piece and I assembled it kind of off the page. And then I basically turned that into a pocket so that I could have my journaling card and my notes kind of back in there. And it just gives it some more interest that way. And it's a good way to kind of use up your little bits and pieces of scraps and things. So that is that day. And I just left this hymnal page here blank. Like I said, I did that several times throughout this this journal. And I really kind of like having some of the open spaces that way. This one, I used the glassine envelope that came with the kit this time. And I just put a sticker, one of the clear stickers, over the top of it. And I cut, this was actually part of the stickers as well. I just trimmed it down so I could fit it on this pattern paper. And then over here, I made a page that kind of has multiple pockets. So there's a pocket here with some scripture. There's one here. And then I have my flashcard tucked in there. And there's another one back there with some notes as well. And then another frame. This is actually a quote from the devotional. And then, oh, that got a little curled up. I'll have to glue that down better. Anyway, this is the next day. And this one is kind of like between two signatures, but this all goes together. But there was a lot of scripture for this day. You can see I have a lot of notes. So I just created pockets, and I have all of my notes and my scriptures written out on different journaling cards. This one, I took the flashcard and I just stapled it, and then I have the scripture there, and then some stuff on the back, and again, just a pocket just full of notes and scriptures. This day was the day where we were talking about all of the kind of prophecies of Jesus in the Old Testament and then being fulfilled in the New Testament. So every time there was one, like in the New Testament, there was one in the Old Testament. And so for every journaling card, I have both on each side. And then I just indicated like what that was. Like this was vinegar to drink. And then I had both of them written out. So this day was just a lot of note taking for me. So it was the best way to handle that for me was with these pockets. So the next day, this is just a journaling card that I had in my stash, and the inside of this kind of didn't really match. So it was like a frame, and I just cut this part out, and then I backed it with one of the papers from the kit. And then I used that to write out some scripture and also to create a pocket for some more scripture and notes. And then this is the sticker from the kit. And I just put that here and left this page blank. This is just paper that coordinated with the kit. And then on this side, I have another one of these crosses that I did. I created both of these, I think, in that same tutorial. This was with Distress Embossing Glaze and Texture Paste. And I have it attached here just with a little paper clip. And on this paper clip, I added this little keychain. I just thought that was fun. And then I just wrote out the scripture here on the back with a white pen. And then just kept that page pretty simple. I'll add that back later. And then on this page, this is like the inside piece of this right here. And so I just used this part down here to write out the scripture. This is one of the stickers from the kit. And then I tucked this tag in here with another scripture and some notes. And then this is day 14. I just created a little pocket here. I have some notes and scriptures here, and then this last journaling card that coordinated with the kit. Now, I do have a couple extra pages here at the end, which I'm totally fine with. I had added a few more pages than I needed because I wasn't sure how many I was going to need, especially like that one day had so many. So anyway, I have a couple extra pages, but that's okay. And then really quickly, I'm going to go through my Bible, because this little pocket Bible has some of the other notes and things from the devotional. So some of them I included in here, and then some of them I included on these little pocket cards. There is a video, I think, of how I covered this Bible. And you can see it's quite chunky. I probably should have put a closure on it so that I could tie it and keep it, but I think it'll be okay. I'm going to go through this in the order of the books of the Bible. This is the New Testament, Psalms and Proverbs, instead of trying to figure out like which day was which, because that would just be too complicated. So I'm just going to go kind of in order of the books. So here we come across the first one in Mark, and so I just kept my little cards pretty simple, and then I have my notes on the back. And so if it's just notes for me, I tend to write them out in cursive, and then if I'm writing out scripture, I tend to write it in all capital letters. It's just one way for me to distinguish really easily, like what is scripture and what is my own notes. I know a lot of people do typewriters and that kind of thing, and I do have a typewriter, but I tend to kind of like to write out the scripture myself. It just helps me to memorize it. I just remember it better if I write it out myself. I don't know why, but that's just me. There's nothing, I do use a typewriter. I'm not saying anything against that, but anyway, moving on. This is Luke 7:34. You can see I just used the flashcard here, and I have some notes. This is actually a song quote from Casting Crowns, the song Jesus, Friend of Sinners, and I just wrote out part of that here. And then I used one of the frames on this card and a little bit of fabric, some notes. Here I used a little bit of crackle texture paste, some fabric. I used my Dymo embossing label maker. This says Sons of God. That end didn't really print very well. And then I have some notes on the back. This one is John 18:37. You can see I just took the little section of the flashcard and put it on here. And then one of the frames. And then some notes. Here, this one has actually several entries. This one, I have the flashcard tucked in. I used some of the Foundry wax from Tim Holtz on the edge of this card. I love the Foundry wax. It's so great. And then some notes here. And then another frame. And more notes. And here's one of the stamps from the kit. And then I just used the alpha tile there. And some notes on the back. And then here's again where I used some vellum. It's stamped on the vellum. And then I used pattern paper behind it. I don't know if you can kind of see how that ends up looking. It just adds some color. You can also use like alcohol markers or even Sharpies and color on the back side of the stamping and kind of get that same look. But here's another sticker. This one actually just put on white paper and then I cut it out. This is Colossians 2:14. I used the flashcard here again. Have some notes. This was a quote from Judy on there. And then I have another one here. I got that a little bit crooked, but that's okay. I have some notes. This is in 1 Peter. Here I used one of the little cards that came with the kit. I think this one had one of the little bow clips on it. And then a little bit of the fabric that I had left over, and then a scripture and some notes. And then this is Revelations. This was actually from day 14, but like I said, they're just kind of out of order. So I just have some quotes from day 14 written out on the back, and then the scripture reference. And then I have a couple here in Psalms. And then on the day, it's like in the Bible, I just kind of highlighted them. Most of the time I used like a neo color and then just used my water brush for that. And then I have some notes on the back here. And I think I have one more. Nope, maybe not. I guess that was the last one. So anyway, that is all of the little entries that I have for my little pocket journaling Bible. I love using these. These are a lot of fun to do in my journal. If you liked this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.